Game day and game two as the Sabres host the Montreal Canadiens. Buffalo looking to take a 2-0 series lead tonight. Our own Paul Hamilton reported earlier today from Morning Skate that the Sabres lineup does appear to be the same as it was in game one. And as for the status for Sam Carrick, head coach Lindy Ruff after the Morning Skate said he is on the cusp of playing and he would play if it were a game 7, but believes the team will be better off if they give him the next few days. Pregame is at 6. It's a 7 p.m. puck drop, and for TV purposes, the game is on TNT and HBO. But to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that, of course, is going to be right here on WGR. There is just one other game tonight, 9:30. Anaheim hosts Las Vegas. That series is tied 1-1. And then it is also a busy day for the Bills. Rookie minicamp did start this afternoon. We'll get the latest on this. Sal Capaccio does join the show at 3:30. And then for more on the rookies that have signed contracts and the UDFA class, Sal has pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. There's also news around the NFL as the league and the NFL's Referees Association have reached a 7-year collective bargaining agreement, and the 2026 schedule is set to release next Thursday, May 14th. And then we also do have some contract news. The Jets lock in running back Breece Hall to a 3-year, $45.75 million deal. And then in baseball, Bison's on the road versus the Iron Pigs. First pitch for that game is going to be at 6:45. And later tonight, Jays host the Angels at 7:07. Yankees are in Milwaukee versus the Brewers at 7:40. And then out west in the desert, Mets are at Arizona at 9:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
My dad's not here right now. He's still at work. So I'm going to blast him.
Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
I'm going to see if there's a clean version so that my parents and the people at my school will not get mad at me. We've got the spritzer filled with water just in case if stuff gets too fire. I'm going to set up the speaker and I'm going to listen to
Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
I think this is the best
Mike Schop
feature that I've heard in a long time. I think his flow is really good in it, and I like his aggressiveness on it, and
the Bulldog.
Put not enough effort in it. I think overall his flow was good, but I don't like that mumble rapping. That was my review of
Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
Didn't need the spritzer. Wasn't fire enough. No spritzer for you. No spritzer.
Hi there, the sun is out. Happy Friday, game 2 tonight in round 2. Is it nice enough for you today? It better be.
It's not raining.
No, it's nice out. There's no way around that. Don't tell me it isn't nice out. Mid-50s and sunny. It could be warmer. The average is like 8 to 10 degrees warmer, I think, than today.
I think considering what we've had for these parties in the plaza / viewing parties at Canal Side for these home games, I wasn't here for game 1, so I don't remember, but wasn't it snowing maybe against Boston in game 1?
Was it?
I think it's
Sunday afternoon.
I think it's no. It was Sunday night. It was
Sunday night.
Yeah,
right,
I think it snowed. There was people kicking that barricade over, and I remember there being snow. It wasn't like accumulating, but it was cold enough to snow.
Okay.
I think this is the nicest weather we've had for one of those events. I think is all I'm getting to here. So yeah, I think
Are you thinking it's nice enough where you will stay outside and not go in?
No.
It's not that nice.
No.
Be colder later.
No. I mean, I might enjoy that if we were working down there and I didn't have tickets.
I'll tell you what about that party.
Maybe I would do that, but no, I'm being taken care of tonight. So
my son goes to that party. He'll be there tonight. Look for him. You know him from the scoreboard and head honcho of Canisius Lacrosse. He's down there when they show images, and I don't mean this as a bad thing. I said it to my wife, and she's like, well, it's good. So, that's how well we're communicating these days. But they show that Canal Side shot and all the people celebrating goals. Nobody looks older than 20.
It does look like a young person's crowd.
It is a prom party, I think, these Canal Side. That's what it looks like on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And, my son wants to be there.
Right.
So I'm assuming, I'd like to think it's well policed, and
I haven't
no
heard
indications to the contrary.
Yeah, I've not heard any reports of any unrest there. I did see something about something that happened with a Habs fan, after the game outside the arena. But anyway, the party, it looks like it's been really great.
But super young.
Yeah, and that's got to be a win for them, the Sabres, right? Like if you've got, I mean, isn't everything? I mean, it's a miracle we're still together after all these years.
Is that how you see it?
It's a little bit. I mean, you're chasing the young. You want to be hip and cool. You want the young people, and if young people who have never experienced the Sabres being good feel compelled to go celebrate this, I mean, that's a fantastic sign.
Before you go on, I'll say that if it's a miracle, because maybe it sounds like every day we're complaining about either how loud the game is or what channel it's on, then yes. Because who wants to listen to Statler and Waldorf
right.
talk about how they can't find the game and that it's not synced up and that the crowd isn't loud enough and that the announcers are this kind of, annoying or whatever. So I think we definitely give our listeners a fair share of that.
Sure, yeah.
Maybe more than a fair share.
Mm-hmm. Noted.
So that's one interesting element here of this whole Sabres experience is that I guess, but we would have predicted this. We didn't lose the young people, just like with the Bills drought. I think both times we would get a little bit, not you and I necessarily, but collectively we would get a little bit carried away with how damaging it was.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
But I have a Bills point about this. With the Sabres, we both, I think, I know how I felt, and I just feel like you were exactly this way, if not even more pronounced, that whenever they get good, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be back.
I feel like we learned that during the 04-05 lockout. And that having come on the heels of bankruptcy and it was dire before the league. The Sabres were in an all-time bad spot as a franchise. And then the league shut down. And we spent, that was a whole year with no hockey games. And there were plenty of questions about the future here, the future of the league, like what is it going to be? And as soon as they got hot coming out of that, it took until maybe December, but in early 05 or mid 05, blast off, here we go. And from that moment on, because I remember saying all through it, I feel like it'll just come back if the right combination of mostly the team is good. Is it something we can believe in, captures your imagination again, and we're right back there. So I never doubted that if it happened that they got good, everybody would come back. The question was, are they ever going to figure it out? When are they going to get good? We've been waiting, and it's multiple number one picks, and what are we doing here? And finally it happened, and everyone is just right back, including, again, people who maybe saw their parents all excited about it and went, what is this all about? I want a taste of this too. And now they're on board. And it just, I've said it many times over the last few months. We just need them to look at us one time. And I love you. I still love you. I'm running across the cornfield to hug the Sabres. We're back, baby.
I think what's different, I don't want to be negative toward the Bills or anything of the sort, but I think it's even more organic than the Bills thing was. What I wondered about, the Bills could have left too. The Toronto Dalliances, and they weren't, well, they eventually were for sale when Ralph Wilson died, but it was a little bit the same. Whatever that was, I felt like jumping on tables and just all the nonsense in and around the stadium was all a function of how irrelevant the team was. That if the team was good, we wouldn't ever resort to any of that. Mm-hmm. It was always a good tailgate scene, which means what? It means that lots of people are out there and grilling and throwing the ball around and, having a couple beers, all the
community.
Community.
Right.
But when it got into that other place, that was during the drought. I'm like, well, this is bad because this is nothing, has nothing to do with football. And we're so bored with the team and tuned out that the only way we can think to occupy ourselves. We want to keep the tailgate thing going because we like that. So we're going to drink our faces off and jump on tables and squirt mustard in each other's eyes.
Some of them are on fire.
And like, just it's all so stupid. Like, it has nothing to do with football. So then Josh Allen shows up and Sean McDermott. Josh Allen shows up, and the other stuff had become a tradition that some people find interesting. And the team got good, so there's never a ticket of it, right? It's just got we got there. The Sabres, there isn't any nonsense, really. Well, I mean, a little bit.
Well, it's
a little bit now.
Yeah, right. Once the playoffs got here, they had the party, and like here come the rollerblades, and they're kicking the crap out of a Cam Neely mannequin.
But they got good first.
Right. That's right.
Like, that wasn't something we decided to do to pass the time.
Absolutely correct. Right.
It was more just like there are more people down here now. This is fun, and let's figure out new ways to enjoy ourselves down here, and it's all clicking. So I don't know, like, there's something about that that's different for me. And I'm also thinking about this, and this is also not to like put the Sabres above the Bills in terms of like Buffalo or any particular context. But here this week on this show, John Shannon walks in, longtime Canadian hockey analyst, decades, right? And he comes on. We get Ron MacLean on. That's back. We had Ron MacLean on 20 years ago for, on a regular basis, but that ended. He went to Sirius, and like and then the Sabres became the Drought Sabres, and just like, I don't know if we ever even thought about it. Always admired him. Then yesterday it's Sean McIndoe, who was on our show many times 15 to 20 years ago, great writer. One thing those guys, I mean, we've had Travis on a lot. Travis lives in like Utah, from Long Island or something. Greg Wyshynski is on a lot. He's from New Jersey. This week, those are all Canadians. John Shannon, Ron MacLean, Sean McIndoe are all Canadian. There's a particular connection that I think we're all kind of experiencing with this playoff run, quintessentially when Cammy Clooney's mic dropped during O Canada last Friday. Last Tuesday. Tuesday, right. Last Friday was Game 6. Like, that connection is right out there right now. Like, and ironically, maybe you're playing Montreal, so there's more of a rivalry again with this round that would not have existed if it were Tampa and did not exist against Boston. But, so be it. And I've really sort of, I don't know what to say about it except just recognizing it. That when we had Bills versus Sabres kind of discussions, whatever it really was about, 20 years ago, Canada was a big part of that. And Canada has also a big part in the Bills fan base, too.
Sure, yeah.
Anyway, I'm not sure what really the point is, except that the Sabres thing kind of means Canadians and that connection coming back in a good way.
It should make, I think it should make Sabres fans, if they care at all about their place in the sport, in the league. The reason the Canadian people, like, reach out to Ron MacLean, reach out to John Shannon, same with Sean, they recognize, they've been around long enough to know what a great market it can be and how underserved it had been for so long. And I believe every one of those people. I've heard Pierre LeBrun say it and write it many times. Like, the sport is better, the league is better when Buffalo matters. It's a border town, and it's not, ratings wise, it gets you good percentage numbers, but it's not millions of eyeballs because there's not millions of people, but it's still, it lifts the North American and especially the United States profile of the league to have Buffalo competitive because it is a hot hockey market. And people who live in the game, make their living in the game, and care about the game at the level that all three of those guests, I feel, represent that they do, they respect a place that loves it. And to me, it's validation. Like, they know it's a real hockey market. It's not just, we're good again. I mean, you got to be good again to get the fuse lit. But we know. We've been following, like, it's a heady hockey town, and that should always get respect from those who are inside the game like those guys are.
I almost want to go as far as to say that in this way, Buffalo is a hockey town and also a Bills town. More not a football town as much as it is a Bills town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Is that right?
I don't know. I don't know.
I guess it's like there are plenty of football teams, high school club. I mean, there's a scene. Hockey, though, everything runs through here. I mean, not like we're the hub, but you and I both know from our kids.
Yeah.
Just the tournament life. And, we got 50 teams piling into the Northtown Center and, all the Rochester and Canadian teams that come through. Like, it's definitely not a hub in that it's like the central location in the on the continent or anything, but there's a certain depth to the hockey culture in Buffalo that might not exist for football. I mean, my son played football for 1 year, got in, got out. That's not even a worthy example. He was never a football kid, but just there's a level of it, but it doesn't seem like the hockey level is even close to it. I mean, just with how many, I don't know numbers, how many kids, how many teams, how many different organizations, and it's massive.
It is. That's all I never knew numbers. For any organization I was involved, like how many kids are in the Bisons at a given time. I have no idea. But I think it's a lot, and there's a lot of organizations. Every town's got one, just about. And towns that aren't big enough to have their own combined with some others. That's how you end up with the Southtown Stars, as one example, right? That capturing Orchard Park, Hamburg, whatever. Although Hamburg's got their own thing too.
Green and gold,
right? Southtown Stars, green and gold. Yeah, and there's also this piece too, like hockey town. It happens in the city, and for me anyway, as a city resident, that's always resonated. It's not to hold it against the Bills that they're not here, but the hockey, like a hockey night, is about Gene McCarthy's and R.I.P. Swanee House and Adolph's, like places in the First Ward that that happens in Orchard Park on football game days, but that's not where I live. It's not where I frequent. It's like I go to these places and I know how much it matters to those places to have those nights. And when it's like this, it's just so the city just buzzes.
It's how it should be.
Yeah, and that has always, I guess I've always said I'm more of a Buffalo fan than I am a Bills or Sabres fan. And the Sabres are of Buffalo in a way the Bills just simply can't be.
They made the choice.
Yeah, right, because of where they planted their flag. Yeah. And again, I don't hold that against them, but it does enhance the Sabre experience to me. I'm going to get out of here tonight. You're gracious enough to let me split in time to get to the game. And
that's still 6, right? And it's like 4?
Right, 6.
How much time do you need?
I'm hoping 6 will be enough. And if I had to run to a suburb somewhere where their rink was, it wouldn't feel the same. Maybe it would be more convenient. Maybe it would be easier to get there and park and get to the rink on time for face-off on a tighter timeline than I might like. But I love that I got to go downtown. I like going downtown. It's just, you don't have a lot of reasons to go downtown, and the hockey game is a big one. And I love that. Always have.
I like that point. Have you made a plan for after the game?
I feel like I'm been invited by some folks that I want to sort of see what they have in mind. I might want to accompany them if they have. I don't know.
Win or lose.
With it being a Friday night, yeah, win or lose could be a factor. It being a Friday night is always a factor. It's different than a Tuesday. The horn blows like, okay, see you later. Get to the car and try to get home and go to bed and get up. Whereas Friday is a little more. So I feel like I'm in the wind. I don't know. I got one of my best friends is going to meet me, and from there I'm just sort of like, I guess I'll be open to ideas.
Well, I can offer one.
Go.
Actually, I'm not even sure I can.
Go on.
I'll be dealing blackjack at a post-prom party. I'm not even sure I can offer you a
I don't
spot.
think I can crash that. I don't
think so either.
I don't think that's
I don't have the kind of power to get you in.
No, I know one of the
I
dealers.
could try.
I know one of the dealers.
Right.
No.
I am one of the
Schop.
dealers. Yes.
Not Schop, Schop.
And you know what you win? Candy. If you win. If you lose, you lose. But you're not playing for real money.
Yeah.
It's high school kids. Come on. We can't do that.
Could take them down and get all their Skittles.
Right.
Will there be Skittles?
I'm not in charge of the candy.
Okay.
Someone else is. But yeah, I'm going there. I'm going home probably for the game to an empty house, I think. And then down back into the city for blackjack until 2 a.m.
I can tell you this. Whatever I end up doing after this hockey game, it is going to have a shelf life way earlier than 2 a.m.
You know, that's a lot. I mean, the window is 11 to 2. I don't think you're going to have kids there at 2.
Yeah. I ran out.
They have the prom.
Yeah.
Do I need the dads playing fake blackjack and mini golf? Do I need to? Is that what I want?
Right.
Is that my idea of fun?
2 a.m.
At 2 in the morning?
Get the hell out of here.
I think 2's a little much.
I ran out of the house last Friday after the Sabres won. Like, just about right now. I think we watched the end of Tampa, Montreal before we left my house. And I had my friend John Gale drop me at the bar I hang out on Hurdle. And this, it's like 10 o'clock, 10:15 maybe. And I was back in my house by 11:30. And when I walked in, my wife, who's on this wacky schedule because she's often working overnight, so it's the middle of her day at 11:30. I walk in there, she's like, "I can't believe you're home already." Like, thinking of me 20 years ago, I leave the house at 10:30 or 10:15. Like, I'm going to be out a while. Like, I just wanted to taste. I just wanted to see everybody and like high five some people, and that's it. I don't need to sit there and drink all the beer. I'm home. That's it.
Right.
So post-game tonight, likely wherever we go will be more like that for me, I would think.
Well, no doubt you can find a game, even if it's not a blackjack game, for Skittles.
Right.
We have moved Sam Panayotovich to 4:30 today so that we could get Sal on. And really, just to inside baseball, that is more just not having more Bills talk closer to the hockey game, really, is what the logic was there. So we'll bring Sal on next. Rookie minicamp today. They're practicing now, and we'll get a couple of thoughts from him. The schedule has been announced to come out on Thursday, so that's exciting. I'm starving for nuggets. Not seeing any.
Me either.
It's Friday. It's getting late on a Friday. I don't expect any.
No, probably not.
But probably by Monday morning we get something, I hope. And we'll talk about the Bills rookie class and maybe some schedule stuff. Sal loves that too. Sammy P at 4:30 on the hockey odds and what we're going to do tonight. And then all the way until 6, the pregame show for Game 2, Sabres and Canadians. Sounds like, if it wasn't even said by Lindy Ruff, same lineup. That's Paul's supposition.
I think what Paul's reporting, Lindy said, is Carrick could play, but we don't need to do it, so we'll give him an extra couple days and revisit it for Game 3.
That's the kind of logic that I don't love. He would play if it were Game 7.
Yeah.
Well, if it were Game 7, you were 3-3 against this team. Let's not get there. I mean, we're not talking about Dahlin here, but I don't know. Didn't we all think it was a big upgrade? And how did it go when Carrick played? Is he healthy or not? He's healthy enough to practice. I think they can do what Lindy usually does, sort of hide behind, well, we won.
And, I don't think it's I'm not upset about it in the least. The guy missed 6 weeks, and he just got back on the ice this week. He's ahead of schedule, even though he's cleared. Okay, let's give him a little time. Let's just make sure that arm doesn't fall apart when he takes a draw. Like, whatever. I'm all right pushing it off a little bit.
Okay. I can't use him as it's a month, right? April 6th was the injury. I can't use him like I used Vanek in the Carolina series 20 years ago. And
no,
just like I don't want to have my goals in the press box because they didn't play the last game that I won 3-2 or something. I don't know. I can't tell you how healthy he is, but he seems healthy enough to play hockey. Anyway, sounds like it won't be tonight. Mike Schop and the Bulldog here. Sal Capaccio after the break. This is WGR.
For more comfort.
Now's the perfect time to make yourself comfortable with a new electric heating and cooling system from Belknap.
In Western New York, summer and winter bring extreme temperature conditions. Make yourself comfortable with Mitsubishi electric heat pumps, designed to keep your home cool in the summer and warm in the winter, no matter how hot or cold it gets outside. Call Belknap today to learn more.
I'm Gary Garfalo, president of Belknap. We work on your schedule. We don't charge more for weekends and evenings. That's why we say,
Give Belknap a ring.
We've been living in sin so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over. It's about time. Oh, all sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose your timeline with the roller coaster of life. I want to go down the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole. Oh,
Don't get me wrong. I'm excited about the Sabres. Kind of an inside thing. Brad is back with us, and Brad and I were hanging out in bars 20 years ago, and there was one particular night where the bartender was talking about maybe an actress and said, and this is like a woman that everybody, like internationally famous, beautiful woman, whoever it was. And the bartender said something like, I don't care what anybody says. She is attractive. And Brett and I were like, okay. Nobody doesn't say that.
Right. There's no dispute about this issue.
And then I went to that draft weekend I go to every year in Philadelphia for baseball drafts. And there was a guy there, and I texted Brad right away because I couldn't believe it. There was a guy there who went, I don't care what anybody says. Whitney Houston had a great singing voice. I mean, listen, don't get me wrong. I am into the Sabres, but I am also plaintively, like a puppy, looking out at the birds flying around and just life going by the window. I'm looking at this NFL schedule grid, waiting for some sort of nuggets to start to fall and we can fill this puppy in. Sal Capaccio with us. Sal, I believe, is probably more well-adjusted than I am and is not. Does not have a browser with the schedule open. But, hey, I do. What can I say? I got to be honest here. And I'm just waiting for anything, Sal. It's killing me.
Yeah, we might get some leaks next week before it officially comes out on Thursday. That'll be interesting. I'll be on the cruise next week, and we're actually going to try and do like a little podcast with the fans on the cruise and the guys, Thurman and Steve, and kind of talk about that along with Sabres going on. So a lot going on, and I agree with you. It's kind of interesting. We haven't really heard anything as far as schedule. I don't think we know, like, other than, I guess, the opening, like some of the international teams, but we really don't know anything about the schedule, to be honest with you.
It's just that game in Australia, and then week 3 will be Ravens-Cowboys in Brazil.
Yes.
That's it.
Okay.
Right.
But
do
you want to make a guess for the Bills week 1 before you go on a boat?
Oof. I mean, it's a pure guess, right? Just based on talking to Mike North, based on my own kind of just thoughts on it. I still think they open week 2 at home, week 1 on the road. Mm-hmm. Get the kinks out of the schedule. But I mean, Mike kind of said, like, we don't need to do that. They could open week 1 at home, obviously, if everything goes well. And I'm going to say week 2 at home, and I'm going to say the Jets.
Oof. The Jets.
Only because I have this like weird feeling that they want to kind of replicate Old Highmark with the Jets the first game ever and the last game ever.
All right. Week 1, where are we going week 1?
Week 1.
I don't think it's a week 1 primetime team, Sal. Allen is Allen. Maybe I'll be wrong. But I don't think the Bills have to be week 1 in primetime.
Okay. Then let's say
and if they're
at
playing
Miami.
Well,
a very, very hot game.
Yeah.
If they're playing the Jets in week 2, that's not a night game either, I would think.
No, that's right. Oh,
right, well, maybe,
no, I think it's a night game no matter what.
Week 2, you mean?
Even if
like the opener, the home opener, you think will be a night game, and you're saying they would do that for the Jets.
It could be a Sunday.
Okay, so let's remember. I want to tell you what Mike North said again. He said when we talked about this, the opponent doesn't matter to them really. It's the build up to the stadium is going to be the talk about the stadium. Once you kick off, it doesn't matter. You have the Bills on prime time. That's what matters.
Well, I'm going to have to process this. I'm glad the weekend is here. Thursday night, I could see that being. And they will play, Sal, I mean, just on this as well, they will play 2 preseason games in there.
Yes.
So you would think by week 1 there wouldn't be really any hesitation.
Yeah, provided everything goes well in those preseason games. Yeah,
that's the thing. I think what you need is the way I play this out. You're right, Mike. That would probably stand to reason. My thing is, okay, week 1 preseason is going to be at home because we know week 2 preseason's in Cleveland. Week 3 preseason's at home. Then you have a week off. The Bills may say, look, we've gone through 2 games. Here's what we need to do before we really light this thing up. and let's go make sure that this is good, that's good, this good. Give us a couple weeks. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But again, they don't have that option here in May when the schedule comes out.
That's right.
You know?
Yeah, they can't know how everything's going to go
Correct.
in those preseason test runs with, maybe not capacity crowds, although maybe because it's the new stadium, they will be full for the preseason games just because it's the first chance to really get in there. But either way, that's right. That's why the week buffer for the week one makes so much sense, because if there is a problem in week 3 of the preseason, you got at least a couple of weeks to like iron it out, whatever that is. I'm talking, from a infrastructure of the stadium standpoint, plumbing, electrics, whatever, Wi-Fi. I mean, who knows? You just, you can test and test and test, but until you've got 50 or 60,000 people in there, maybe you can't know if everything's going to work well.
I agree, and they're going to have to kind of balance all that. But I feel like no matter which week it is, it feels more like a Monday night than a Sunday night. And the reason is because of what Mike described on the podcast, which is like the build up to the stadium. Like let's just say you do a Monday night game, ESPN can have Pat McAfee show there. They can, bring on Bills players and Brandon Beane. They can have NFL Live there. You can't really do that on a Sunday night, to be honest with you, because you can have your crew there, but it's Sunday's about the Sunday games. Right. And NBC's not going to be doing that all day. So I feel like it's some sort of build up they'll do, because he said it doesn't matter the opponent. It's really everything's about the stadium until the game kicks off.
I like that point. Yeah. So probably our first road game is not a primetime game, because the first home game will be because of this. Like that seems right. I think in a vacuum, I would like the game in Las Vegas to be like a possible week 1 Monday night candidate, although they're not doing double headers anymore.
Right.
So that's different now too.
Because we like those. So they got
like
rid of
those.
those. They keep adding new days of the week, but one thing that I do like on an ever more cluttered football calendar is when they have a 7 and a 10 or a 7 and a 9:30. Nope, take that away.
Yeah, that's gone. Give me all the warm weather cities late in the year, though, guys. So I don't want Vegas. I don't want Miami. I don't want LA. Give me those in November, December. Houston.
Sal Capaccio with us. The Bills are holding rookie minicamp. How do they look, Sal? Are they going to be good? Are the rookies good? Are the Bills going to be good?
Yeah, and just so you guys know, they actually have wrapped up early. They're stretching right now. If I see them start coming off the field, I'm going to let you know that I got to go because we got to do interviews.
Okay.
But they're still stretching right now. They just wrapped it up, and what you'd think from a rookie camp, just guys. It looks like a regular practice, right? But you're getting guys you've never seen before and different numbers. And okay, who's that guy? Where's this guy? Looking down on my card. Where's Jude Bowery? Who, by the way, wears his 311 really well. That's one thing I noticed today. 311 pounds. I'm like, that dude doesn't look 311 pounds. He's like a really fit looking dude. You know what I mean? Like, I think 311, he's not looking like that. So that was interesting. Watching Skylar Bell and Jermaine Burton, and, I'm not going to make any grand observations about anything, but just kind of seeing these guys out here like that.
Jermaine
Burton's interesting. Yeah, Mike hasn't been here at all to talk, because when that happened, he was out, I think. Maybe I don't think you and I talked about this part of this, Sal, but I wonder how much, how emblematic Jermaine Burton, like the flyer on him, is of Sean McDermott not being here anymore. Like, I know the Bills took shots on other receivers that were reclamation projects, but none of them had the allegations and the rap sheet that basically that cost Burton his position in Cincinnati after being a third-round pick only 3 years ago. Always was a talented guy. The only reason he lasted to the third round were questions about off the field and attendance and all that, and that came home to roost in Cincinnati. I feel like this is a player that maybe wouldn't even have gotten a shot with McDermott still here. I don't know if that's fair or not.
Listen, I think there's credence to it. I think we went a little too far with that with the C.J. Gardner signing, but I do think that's a part of it. Like, it feels like there's some guys here now that are a little bit more like they're willing to take guys a little more edge and maybe those question marks, basically. I think C.J. Gardner Johnson represented that initially, and I think you could totally get there with a guy like Jermaine Burton. But let's remember, remember the wrestler they brought in a couple years ago, and I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Gable, I think it was. Gable Steveson. And he had some issues in his past that had to be talked about. And, that was Sean McDermott who was here. There have been guys. It's not like they just bring everybody and brought in everybody before who were, total choir boys or anything like that. But I do think there's a space to kind of talk about that and think about the new regime and how many, guys are a little bit different and, that they're bringing in here to give a look at.
There's a Julius. here, Julius Pierce, offensive lineman, as a tryout player. Burton is also listed by the Bills as a tryout player. Red ink versus blue ink. What's the technical difference?
Tryout players are not under contract. Everybody else is. They are either actual signed undrafted free agents or draft picks.
Okay.
The guys in red that are listed are on tryouts. They are not under contract. They're trying out for the team like Joe Andreessen did and then was offered a contract a few years ago. One of those guys is Jakob Johnson. Remember the fullback from New England a few years ago, Raiders? He's here on a tryout basis as well. And then Taquan Roberson, who was the quarterback at the University of Buffalo, is also here on a tryout basis.
Good to have two quarterbacks. Yep. Brady Olson is the other one. There's also, this is going to be a tough name for me if this guy makes it. I don't want to say I'm rooting against him because that wouldn't be nice. But there's a guy with the last name of Linthicum. And we had Lincecum in baseball, but this is like if you were to say it with a lisp, you'd have Linthicum. So we have Ryan.
I'll give you another one, Mike. There's a Mark Langston.
Speaking of baseball, there is a
Mark Langston is a long snapper here.
All right. I just heard he does color for the Angels, so he's bouncing back and forth. Mark Langston, long snapper. I
realize he was already 65 years old or something as well. And I'm like, man, if I run out here and there's a 65-year-old tall lefty who's long snapping, that's going to be wild.
What a story. Is there a rookie you're most interested in speaking to today, like hearing from?
And we're going to do that right now, guys. They are walking off the field. I'm going to go do that. It's going to probably be Skylar Bell and TJ Parker that we're going to be hearing from, I think, most as far as the media and getting some scrums going here. So if you don't mind, I'm going to go do that now, and you guys will have that sound available to you.
All right, go for it, Sal. Have yourself a good time doing that, and enjoy the hockey game tonight and your trip next week. All right, there's Sal Capaccio on the Western Hotline. His appearances brought to you by New York's only outlet liquor. When you need to stock up, it's the place to buy a case. What's your outlet?
Did you make a week one guess? I didn't actually make one. I'll guess road, but it can't be prime time because we think the home game will be. They're not going to be prime time weeks 1 and 2, are they?
I don't know why you'd want to rule it out. They've played consecutive primetime games, maybe not the first 2 weeks of the season, but they've played like back to
3 out of the first 4.
Yeah. So I'm not ruling out primetime week 1. I haven't honestly really thought about it. I do like the Monday night. I like week 2 for home. I think holding off everything Sal said about the stadium itself as a structure, as a place to host thousands and thousands of people. I think you want to give as much buffer as you can. So I think week 2 makes sense, and it not mattering who you're playing on a Monday night. All of that tracks. Like I like his. I hate to just piggyback on his jet pick, but I like his jet pick for week 2. Week 1, I don't know. I haven't really thought too much about it. I'd like New England, but I think New England's going to go to Seattle.
Oh, okay. I think Chicago's going to go to Seattle, but Chicago would be a candidate to play here.
Okay.
Just don't know if the Jets are enough of a non-laughing stock for this. Like or the Dolphins even. They're kind of the same, right?
Yeah. They're definitely dinged. I'm taking to heart what Sal said, Mike North said about like the run up to the game is all about the stadium. It doesn't really matter who you're playing. They can have McAfee here and all that stuff. And I could see that being really appealing to the league because they're giving the Bills all this love. They've been great with Allen here, primetime games and all kinds of attention, and now they're opening a new place. Like let's give them a day where they sort of own the channel, which is what you'd have if you're on, if a bunch of ESPN shows are here because they've got the game on Monday night. So I think in that case, I'm sort of with Sal. I don't think it matters if it's the Jets.
Week 1 at the Jets. Week 2, Sunday night home against LA Chargers. AFL. By the way.
Okay.
2-time AFL championship game matchup.
That's right.
If you want to get nostalgic. What week 1 at the Jets or the Dolphins? Same to me. Week 2, Sunday night home, LA Chargers. Every game outside of their division, plus New England, is really nice. So I don't want to do a Jet or Dolphin Monday night opener. And I think if I'm going to do somebody else, it almost really can be a Sunday. because the matchup is great. And but for a Mahomes injury, it might even be the Chiefs would be perfect, but we don't know if he's going to be back in time. Sounds like he is. Schedule release date is Thursday. Sabres and Canadians, Game 2. Mike Schop and the Bulldog here at 803-0550. For your thoughts on the series, this is WGR. Last call. Game 2 tonight, downtown, Sabres and Canadians in the second round. Paul Hamilton will join us at 6, probably with all the interviews we're getting out of the Sabres. We'll play something before the pregame show, right? I mean, just
we got quite a few long form. That's what some guys are at the podium. I think we've got 2 guys together in one of these actually.
Yes,
talking. I forget who else. But anyway, yeah, those often go a little longer than just sitting in somebody's locker by yourself. Like there's a room full of reporters, and as this opponent is going to afford you lots more reporters and therefore lots more questions, probably.
Perhaps in multiple languages.
Perhaps, yes. In fact, Paul told me that Marty St. Louis' appearances are very different. Like he's switching back and forth between French and English constantly. He said, I wouldn't suggest airing those. It's confusing.
He has to be able to do that.
Yeah.
To be the coach of the Canadians. Who was the executive that got fired after maybe condescending to the French-speaking people? It was an airline executive, I think. Somebody in Canada a few months ago was mocked, ridiculed for not being sort of able to go back and forth or wanting to.
Yeah. I don't know.
Remember when Randy Cunneyworth got the job coaching the Canadians?
Yeah, it was a big deal.
It was a topic.
It was a big deal that he could not speak to the French press in French. Yeah.
So that's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
You would never get that job.
No. A variety of reasons, but the inability to speak the language is one of them. Yeah.
Have you figured out how to hate Martin St. Louis yet, as is your custom?
No.
He's tough to hate.
He's
very likable.
He's almost impossible for me to hate.
I even liked him as a player.
I loved him as a player. Undrafted. And
Vermont, right?
Yeah. Boy, absolutely love him as a player. I see him and I still just think of the photos I remember seeing of his legs. And just how, unbelievable his lower body, his thighs were just massive. He just had these massive tree trunks on this tiny little guy. How do you play and score and become a Hall of Fame player at that size? Legs like that help.
All right, if you get a chance to talk to him, les jambes is what you want. Legs, les jambes. Just put that out there. We'll talk some more about tonight's game after this. Mike Schop and the Bulldog, WGR.
It is game day for Game 2 as the Buffalo Sabres play host to the Montreal Canadiens, and the Sabres are looking for that 2-0 series lead. Our own Paul Hamilton reported earlier today from Morning Skate that the Sabres lineup appears to be the same as it was in Game 1. And as for the status for Sam Carrick, head coach Lindy Ruff said after the Morning Skate that Carrick is on the cusp of playing. He would play if it were Game 7, but believes the team will be better for it if they give Carrick a few more days. Pregame is at 6, puck drop at 7. For TV purposes, this game is on TNT and HBO, but to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that is going to be right here on WGR. There is only one other game tonight. It's 9:30. Anaheim hosts Las Vegas. That series is tied 1-1. Then we've also got a busy day for the Bills. Rookie minicamp started this afternoon. And then for the latest on all of that, Sal Capaccio has pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. And then some news from around the league. The NFL and the NFL's Referees Association reached a 7-year collective bargaining agreement earlier today. The 2026 schedule is set to be released next Thursday, May 14th, and the Jets lock in running back Breece Hall to a 3-year, $45.75 million deal. And on the baseball side of things, the Bisons are on the road versus the Iron Pigs. First pitch at 6:45. Then later tonight, the Jays host the Angels at 7:07. Yankees are in Milwaukee versus the Brewers at 7:40. Then out west, the Mets are at Arizona at 9:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
If you wrap foil around that, just like the little bit of the base part of the banana where the fruit is, wrap foil around that top and they will last longer.
You know, I'm something of a scientist myself.
Who needs your bananas to last longer, though?
Look, I don't want to go to the store every other day for bananas.
They're 8 cents each.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on?
You're going to wrap them in foil?
They're better when they're just a little green. Yeah.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
Too much work.
Not that much trouble.
Too much work.
Says the guy that's got a spreadsheet with 3,000 fantasy teams.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Oh, he meant that to take a crack at me, but I embrace it. I welcome it. You want to see it? You want to see the spreadsheet?
No.
Let's see. What's my most recent spreadsheet?
Not even
baby, look, this is beautiful.
I did
Positions
wish
by colors.
I did wish. I don't know if you can still make this happen or if it's too late now, but I wanted to spend a little more time with your the crossword puzzle you completed that was composed by Jeff Tweedy.
Okay.
That I didn't. You had already done it. I saw it. I got it in my Twitter feed. I saw Pitchfork or some music site I follow said like Tweedy's got the New York Times crossword puzzle today, or he made it.
It's a monthly bonus puzzle.
Okay.
Was this puzzle for subscribers?
And I was so excited when I saw that because I know you have talked often here about doing the New York Times crossword puzzle every day. So I sent you the link, and you'd already done it. It's like
I'd already done it.
Darn it! I only got to glance at it. You opened it up and showed it to me, but we were running in here to start the show, and I never saw it again.
Well, it brought out a good conversation about the theme of the puzzle was the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed, and I don't really know anything about them. So I was kind of able to talk to you about it. Here, there were some title names of songs and different, trivia, CBGB stuff.
Right.
And, when you don't know answers to puzzles, like when you don't know puzzle answers that are names, you have to figure out another way. You have to, get the down clues going, and then maybe you can piece it together.
Right.
Which was the case for me in this particular puzzle. But yes. Every day. And Slate. I do 2 crossword puzzles a day. At least.
If
it's too easy.
That is healthy intellectual exercise, I would say.
I like to think so. Yeah. If they're too easy, then I'll find I only signed up to the New York Times puzzles in February, so I'll just find old ones because you have access to all of them.
All right.
Or I don't know all of them. I mean,
but whatever.
Decades.
You seem like you probably have a good catalog to work with if you need it.
Yeah, there's always another one that I've never seen.
Yeah, good.
And then you go back and you look at your history, and there are a couple in the last 3 months that I didn't finish. And so instead of the gold star on that day, it's like blue. And, today, for example, I went into one in March or something and finished it.
Incomplete work, Michael.
Incomplete.
Right.
No points. Want some good news?
I'd love some good news.
I'm beginning to hate Carolina again.
Oh, that's not a problem at all.
That's not going to be hard.
No.
If we get there, that is not going to be hard.
I'm already.
The uniforms are so bad.
Yeah. How much do you want to know? I'm already at like calling Taylor Hall names like because of his face.
And he's dirty now.
And I'm just like, I'm in a very bad place already with Taylor Hall, and I'm fully prepared without. I don't know how much ground to stand on there really is to hold his tenure as a Sabre against him, but I'm ready. I'm not going to let reason stop me. I'm not going to let objectivity stop me. I'm ready to just open fire on Taylor Hall's tenure as a Sabre, and the fact that he's there and barrels into a guy from behind and only gets 2 minutes. Could have been the most important play of that game last night.
He knocked that Ottawa guy out, too.
At the time it happened. Yeah, that's right. So, no, that's not going to be a chore at all. I hate them.
Everything we say is going to sound like a jinx. You know? Like
sure.
Anything positive. If we're talking about the next round, it all just going to, like, guys, come on. What do you guys want? You want Bills rookies? What do you want? Schedule guesses? Or do you want to talk like this? Like, what do you want here? What gets me in the least amount of trouble? Imagine if it's Carolina 20 years later. Imagine just the poetic, the symmetry of that. What a thing. And Taylor Hall and Kevin Adams
and Eric Stahl and Jordan Stahl is still there. Yeah.
He wasn't on that team.
No, he wasn't. He was a Penguin then. Yeah.
But still, like, the Flyers, to men of a certain age, like the Flyers are more of this. They're down 3-0 now. Yeah. But if we had this conversation before that series started, which we might have, how rich would that be? Philadelphia,
right?
Ristolainen, Daniel Briere. That's cool too. That's not going to happen.
No, it's not. They're cooked. Yeah.
But Carolina, for just this incredible out of left field season the Sabres have had, if it gets to the next round, after Boston and Montreal, by the way, and it's Carolina, holy cow, is that rich? I mean, that is just almost unbelievable. I mean, they've been good a long time, and it's not unbelievable, but it's just amazing if it happens.
And they mostly have run out of gas in this round, or I don't know if they've made how many conference finals they've made, but they have been one of the best teams in the league.
I don't know if it's any,
and they just can't get there. So, for them, they might also, like, if they look like they're, on a joyride to the third round here, and will probably have, well, it depends. I don't want to rule anything out. We'll see how quickly this Sabres-Montreal series wraps up, but the chances are good. It'll be available to Carolina to have a lot of rest. But for them, they haven't been able to get over the hump to get even to a conference final, let alone the Stanley Cup final. Doing it against Buffalo would be maybe great for them, too.
They have been to 3 conference finals in the last 8 years.
Okay.
2 years ago, they lost to Florida in 5. I wasn't watching hockey, so I'm giving myself a pass on this. 4 years ago or 3 years ago, they lost. Wait a minute. Last year, they lost to Florida in 5. 3 years ago, they lost to Florida in 4. And then 7 years ago, they lost to Boston. When Boston went and played the Blues, I guess that would have been.
Okay. All right.
So they have made the conference finals 3 times. And another time, that would have been the Penguins, I think, in 2009. Yes. None of these series went more than 5 games.
Right. They've been sort of summarily dismissed when they've gotten there, and other years they haven't gotten there. And they've been basically the same. Best penalty kill in the league, smothering defensive team, lots of shots at the net. Like that, their MO's been the same. It's the same coach, and they go recruit a certain kind of player. Like they have a style, and it's it works for them to a point, but they just haven't been able to get again past that round.
Well, if you don't know, and I'm not asking you to care. After 2006, it took me years to not get sick thinking about Carolina. Just like, I hate them. I would say it every time. Every time they were mentioned, I hate Carolina. It stopped. it felt like a little kid's thing. And I started to hate the Sabres more. Like by halfway between then and now, how do you hate any other team when your team is so incompetent?
Yeah.
Like it didn't feel right to be mad at other teams. Just like, well, not their fault. I can't even get close to you. But man, this playoff, they're 7-0. They are not in any kind of stress. They had one game with Ottawa that went to 2 overtimes. But really, they're killing all the penalties.
And they had an overtime game against Philly already in game 2 in this series. And really, that was the game they I can't say should have, but they easily could have. Philly had great chances in overtime, really dominated overtime, and couldn't get there, and then Taylor Hall scored.
I am not here to tell you chapter and verse on the Hurricanes. I can't watch their games. The uniforms are just boring, and it's just ugly. I can't watch their games. I will if the Sabres make it. I will tell you now. I will watch those games. Otherwise, I can't tell you anything. But I will tell you this about the Sabres. I feel like I am more confident than I was in 2006 or 7. 2006, the second round was that Ottawa series, the Pominville series. And I was optimistic, but I didn't think they were the better team before or during or after. Like, they got away with it in that Ottawa series. You know, they had the shootout game, then the Miller game in game 2.
Yep.
And they did it. And in 07, all of us walked around with like a scowl because it was supposed to be the year.
Like a coronation, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, and like the Islander series, then the Rangers, it was just really difficult and nerve-wracking.
Yeah,
which is different than this year.
I think we might have felt like going into the 07 playoffs, the Sabres had a chance to do what Carolina is doing in this playoffs, which is just sort of swat away we're better than you. We're better than you.
Right.
Okay, now it's hard. You know, that kind of thing. And it was hard right away.
Yes. They're 7.8 seconds away from being down 3-2 to the Rangers,
Going to New York. Yeah, right.
So it was, and being shut out like that. That was tough. I don't remember being super confident then. In 06, it was fun like this, but not, for me anyway, Ottawa into Carolina, all right, we got a shot. But I never thought that they had to win. I don't think this team has to win. But I'm more confident in this than those teams. I know it. I just know it. It's the matchup. It's home ice. That Ottawa series was Ottawa was just better. They always beat the Sabres in those years. They just kind of owned Buffalo until that round.
Right.
And then it turned and turned back.
And then went right back. Yeah, right. I was going to say, that series is maybe the aberration within that rivalry between the two teams those 2 years, where they were both battling for the top spot in the division. But Ottawa, I think, almost always had the better of it.
Yeah, I am starting to get there on Carolina, but we have Montreal first. I'm not blind to that. I have to say it. Who are these guys?
Good reminder.
They're talking like it's already over.
Yeah.
There's no winning. This will have to do. Josh is next. Hello.
Hey, how y'all guys doing today?
Good, man. Thanks.
Hey, just want to hear y'all's take on this. Thompson, he was kind of quiet in the first series. Scored those goals in the first game. But do you think the teams like Canadians are just focused on him, and just like the Bruins, they were really just focused on him, that they're taking him kind of out of the games and more focusing. It's allowing the other players to have better opportunities like Benson and Byram and stuff. Just want to get y'all's take on that. Or I'm just hoping for a Tage Thompson hat trick tonight or something like that. But
Right.
Just want to get y'all's take on that.
Yeah.
I'd love one goal.
It would stand to reason that you would focus on the most dangerous players on the other team. We expect the Sabres to be doing that to their opponents. I think they did that, and to a pretty good extent. Pasternak got free for a couple of open looks. One of them, unfortunately, was an overtime of Game 5, but 5-on-5, they did a job on him. I think Montreal's top line is way more challenging, but you should handle your defensive, your defensive game plan should be built around who do I want out against those guys. And if Montreal's not doing the same thing with a back-to-back 40-goal scorer, they'd be crazy. So they're absolutely who's their best defenseman okay, do we want him out there for that? Like that's Lane Hudson. Or do we want someone maybe a little bigger? Just you want to try to figure out what's going to match up best. So they'd be focused on it. I don't know that that's why you're not seeing goals. I mean, Tage, I didn't like his game much at all on what night was it? Wednesday night, myself. But that could be because they were like focused on stopping him and muddying him up. So we'll see. But it would be nice to see him score. It's been 6 games.
Yeah, he and maybe even Tuck. When I watch them, they both make me wonder if they're hurt. And they both there were suspicions about each of them down the stretch of the season. Tuck missed a practice. Thompson missed a practice, like a morning skate.
Yeah.
And it's not the kind of thing anybody talks about, but I don't know. So it's kind of, it's inherently making excuses for them. But Tuck's had a couple of misses where I'm like, oh, geez, buddy.
Yeah. And
Thompson, like the Doc goal, my house got excited for the play that Doc made. And TNT, somebody called it the goal of the playoffs.
Yeah, I heard that too.
And like I couldn't warm up to it because like Thompson, I always tell my daughter, play the score. It's 4-1.
Right.
And why are we dangling through the neutral zone
late
here?
In the
You don't need to
second
do
period,
it.
right.
He loses control and then he's sort of kicking at it, fumbles at it, and it's over.
Yeah.
And like I couldn't appreciate the Doc goal.
At some point you got to like pull the chute on what you had in mind there, and recognize it's 4-1, and like just get control and chuck it off the wall. Okay, it's 4-1. It's late in the second period. I don't need to, sure, I'd like the glory of making a great play here, but yeah, and what happens? It's happened other times this year, maybe even with this specific player. Like I don't know if people were hard on Owen Power for blowing the zone on that play. But that's how they play. That's what they do. Here comes Thompson. He's got control. I'm going. This is green light time, and that compounds the mistake. It's not only like if he turns that over, but the Sabres are, and maybe there's room to criticize Power for being so aggressive up 4-1. Okay, no need to blast off. Just stay home in case, right? But anyway,
that's interesting.
They don't. He goes, and now you're cooked. So, that was a very tough play for Thompson there. And I don't know that – I don't want to make the whole game about that one play, but it was a glaring error from a veteran player who you just have to get – you can't give the puck away there. You just have to secure it.
Well, we know who he is. He's not a Selke finalist.
Right.
He's not that. He's not that player. But his value – is obvious for what he does well. He can beat goalies. Like that's what you get from Thompson. I thought in the Boston series there were a few plays he made where he really skated. Like he knows he's not whoever you want here for like the Suzuki is probably going to win the Selke, right? Like he's not somebody like that. But I thought the effort was there against Boston. At times you really saw him work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad for that. I mean that's a good sign when it's from Tage.
Especially defensively.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. Like in the zone. Like he was back and he was on top of that part of the game.
I need him to beat the goalie.
Right.
If he does, we're good. If he doesn't, we're going to talk about what he doesn't do well.
Right.
Like he's got for the narrative's sake, he's got to fend off this with goals. And I don't know, like he gets chances. It's not like he's not getting chances. Maybe not so much Wednesday.
Yeah, I didn't think there was a lot there for him in his line on Wednesday. But again, I mean, you heard, Paul yesterday told us, and, you can watch the game and discern this yourself. As that game went on, eventually they were on, it wasn't all the time, but often enough that it was noticeable they were on against the Suzuki line. And as Lindy, explained himself, we talked with Paul yesterday, and I thought, I wonder if that's just finding out what that's going to look like. You might have had your preferred matchup, which I assume is how you started the game, which was Norris, Doan, and Benson against their top line, and that went great. And then as the game unfolded, I was like, okay, well, we're up. Let's see what it looks like, because we're going to go to Montreal eventually, and we won't have – you can work to get that matchup, but you got to work for it. It's got to fall just right. Circumstances, win a draw, change the line out, whatever, that kind of thing, because you don't have last change. So inevitably you're going to have other lines on the ice, against their top line. And so you want to just, what does that look like? How hard do I have to work to avoid it? If the answer is not at all, then great. And I would say Wednesday is some proof that if for some reason Marty St. Louis wants his top line out against Thompson and Tuck and Krebs, that maybe at worst is going to be a wash. Maybe we'll get ours, they'll get theirs. But if he finds his a matchup somewhere else, which would make sense. I mean, you definitely want to try that. Try every matchup you can when you've got the home ice.
Suzuki, a finalist for the Selke, and I think considered the favorite. The Hart finalists came out today: McDavid, McKinnon, Kucherov. Greg Wyshynski, frequent guest of ours, said he thought Celebrini deserved to be a finalist, and he said he voted for him to second on his ballot. Do you agree? Would you have picked a different three?
Who am I displacing in this scenario? I really don't know. I love Celebrini. I don't think I can move one of those three out of there for him.
Kucherov had a record kind of scoring year. I mean, that 3-month or so stretch when he had, did he have 100 points in 50 games?
It's something insane. I didn't commit it to memory, but it blew my mind. Maybe that's why I don't remember it. It was like, what is he doing? Yeah, there's a stretch of the season where he was at well over 2 points a game. And for a lot of games, like you said, 50. It was a lot of games. I don't know if it got to 150 games, but it was nuts.
Well, these were 1, 2, 3 in points.
Yeah.
McDavid 1, Kucherov 2, McKinnon 3. Celebrini was 4.
Yeah.
In points.
I have a hard time moving any one of those three out of there.
What I like about Greg's point, one of them, was he didn't want to hold it against Celebrini that his team wasn't better.
They didn't make it, right.
Which, good. I agree with that. I'm trying to, to a certain extent, I can respect value as it represents your team's performance. But what we do in sports is when a team isn't good, we blame their best players, not their worst players, usually. And that doesn't really seem right, but that's what we do. If the Sabres lose, it's going to be Thompson. If he doesn't score, that's where we're going to end up, right? Yeah. I mean, that's what there are already signs of that. And they're not losing. So I can respect that to a certain point only. Otherwise, what am I trying to do? NFL, NHL. I'm trying to find the best player. That's what it is. And okay, if Celebrini was top 3, even if his team, I know in the Olympics he might have been the best player on Canada.
He was dynamite.
He was great.
That was really very, very much, I think, a coming out party for him. Because he's out in San Jose, and if you watch them or see them before the Olympics, you're aware of how good he is, but largely that his season was just going by. And people inside hockey were like, oh, wow, this guy is really hitting the beach in a meaningful way already. But then the Olympics showed up, and I think he was one of the biggest stars to come out of that. And very, very good for him. I said after the lottery we were talking about San Jose a little, he's going to win an MVP. And if they get a defenseman that is capable of doing, I don't know, what's too much? Schaefer had a historic rookie season as a defenseman for the Islanders, top pick from last year. If they can get a guy at 2 that can give you 2/3 of what Schaefer did for the Islanders, that's a playoff team next year. San Jose.
I mean, they only missed by a few points.
They are just jacked with young guys that are all already look really good. And Celebrini obviously at the top of that, but they don't have a defenseman version of that guy yet.
Sam Panayotovich coming up next. Hey, notice a rattle in your ducts or a rise in your heating and cooling bills? If you do, give Belknap a ring with 0% financing. The cost of upgrading to a high-efficiency dual-fuel heating system is a breeze. Learn more at belknapheating.com. That's belknapheating.com. Go green, save energy, save money with Belknap. Schedule a free estimate on your new installation. Give Belknap a ring, 688-1728. For more comfort and less ka-ching, give Belknap a ring. Sammy P. after sports. Sabres and Canadians downtown, Game 2, pregame at 6 here on WGR.
Day for Game 2. The Buffalo Sabres playing host to Montreal, and the Sabres looking to take a 2-0 series lead. Our own Paul Hamilton did report earlier today from Morning Skate that the lineup does appear to be the same for the Sabres as it was in Game 1. And as for the status for Sam Carrick, head coach Lindy Ruff said he is on the cusp of playing, and if it were Game 7, he would be in, but believes the team will be better for it to give him a few more days. Pregame is at 6, puck drop at 7, and for TV purposes, the game is on TNT and HBO. But to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that is going to be right here on WGR. There is one other game tonight. It's at 9:30. Anaheim hosts Las Vegas. That series is tied 1-1. For the Bills, it was a busy day. Rookie minicamp did get underway. For the latest on that, Sal Capaccio has a number of pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. And then the big news for the NFL today, the league and the NFL's Referee Association have reached a 7-year collective bargaining agreement. And then coming up next week, the 2026 schedule. It is set to be released next Thursday, May 14th. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
Got it up ahead for Holzinger. Holzinger in over the line, leaving it to Audette, looking in front of the net. Audette shooting, scores! Chatan! Donald Audette finds Miroslav Chatan out in front. He guns it into the corner of the net. Another power play goal. Buffalo a 3-0 lead.
You can hear that crowd. That's the Bell Center in Montreal, Game 4. The Sabres clinch with a sweep over the Canadiens, 1998. The horn has its place, but you got to love the sound of the road crowd when you score on the road.
Yep.
How much home fan representation is there? I mean, that was loud. Just people, getting their coats, complaining,
Right.
blaming the refs.
Yeah, I remember those, we played Game 3's overtime winner from Pekka the other day, and I remember the crowd being quieter and hearing the players more than we did in the highlight that we played. And maybe I misremember it.
It was the end of the game.
Right, that's what I mean. But it wasn't as quiet as I thought it was. It didn't sound like I remembered it sounding.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I think I exaggerated in my head how quiet the building was and how much you could hear them all hooting and hollering on the ice because they had ended the game. And it didn't sound like that quite to me when we heard it back. I was like, dang, I think I embellished this.
The horn is fine. Everybody has one. I don't like it when they take the ice.
You know, blowing the horn for the team coming out on the ice?
Yes.
Yeah.
Why? Can't we just do what we would do organically and not, can we just cheer that?
Get ready to
It's a better sound.
Get ready to be really, really annoyed if you don't, right now as I'm saying this, remember how obnoxious Montreal's horn is. It goes forever, and it's like this sort of mid-range tone that is just, it's tough.
I do like the siren.
I am prepared to struggle with their horn.
The siren is unique at the end of the period in
that's
Montreal.
right.
I
Yes.
do like the siren.
Me too.
Sam Panayotovich with us, Chicken Dinner, noted Chicago radio personality, living in New England now. Do you have, shall we ask, do you have a take on horns?
We're working ourselves into playoff shape here, Sam, by getting to hate everything about the team the Sabres are playing, including their horns.
Okay. I covered the Blackhawks when they debuted Chelsea Dagger as the goal song, and that took over the city. And that was a good one. I think a lot of the horns, though, are pretty bad, to be fair.
Chicago had the first one. Chicago Stadium had the first horn. Maybe Buffalo was second? Bulldog? Do you think so?
I don't know.
But Chicago, for years, was the only team with a goal horn. And, I mean, that was cool. But now everybody does it.
Right.
Sam, so you've been doing some, shall I call it, research on hockey futures? What is it?
Sure. So I've been texting around Vegas and basically asking about the liability that has built up over the season on Buffalo. And, Jeff Davis at Circa, I thought this was really interesting. So November 14th, Circa Sports in Vegas, a very big, sharp sports book, had the Sabres at 350 to 1 to win the Stanley Cup.
Wow.
You believe that?
Wow.
That's insane, right? So they actually opened 150 to 1 because the Sabres, forget making a run, they weren't supposed to make the playoffs. So they opened 150 to 1, and then before that huge stretch in November, December, 350 to 1. The biggest bet they took was a 5-figure bet at 125 to 1. There's also a bet on this. There's a 600 to 1 bet on Colorado to beat Buffalo in the Stanley Cup final.
600 to 1, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Are these your bets, Bulldog? Are you?
These are not my bets.
5-figure bet.
I do not have any.
That's at least $1 million.
I have no future action at this moment.
It's at least $1 million if they win it.
I've got action on tonight, and that's
that better.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, who knew any of this was? What is it now? 8 to 1? 10?
Yeah, Colorado Buffalo is about 7 or 8 to 1, and I still don't think it's the worst idea. In fact, I was on a podcast earlier this week where the host said, "Who do you like to go to the Stanley Cup final?" And I was like, Colorado and Buffalo. I panicked. I wasn't prepared for the question, you know. Look, they should win tonight. They should. And then naturally Buffalo will lose the next 2 in Montreal, and then we'll come back to Buffalo 2-2. But we've seen some bets actually today in Vegas on Montreal. But these were the same people that bet Montreal in game number 1. And I personally don't think the game was all that close. Obviously, we all watched it. The one bet that I keep looking at today, I know last week, and it's very funny, I appreciate the audience in Buffalo. Very loyal, very friendly for the most part. When I wasn't on at my usual time today, 3:30, I got 3 direct messages from people that bet Alex Tuck first goal last week. And basically like the Dave Chappelle meme, like scratching his neck, looking for drugs.
Yeah.
So they're asking, who do I like to score tonight? And I hate to give you the odds-on favorite here, but this is a Tage Thompson plus 150 night, isn't it?
I wouldn't hate it.
I mean, knock yourself out. I'm back on Josh Norris again tonight.
You and Norris.
I'm gonna die hard on Norris.
I just want to feel like Norris is up to this, and we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out what he is, but I love when you are on him because
I just feel like
Benson
is going to do so much, and even if they're not matched up on the number 1 line, maybe that's even better. I feel like there's going to be opportunity there for Norris. It was Doan in game 1 and McLeod on the power play. To me, that could easily be Norris.
Well,
I'm there.
Thompson, I haven't looked. He hasn't scored in 6. Scored twice in game 1, and that's been it. So it's 6 games without a goal. That's probably a pretty big drought for him for his last.
Yeah,
I think he gets one tonight. I think he does. At plus 150, I think it's a decent bet. If you're looking for a longer shot, though, because again, we had Tuck last week at about 3 to 1. He was 12 to 1 for the first goal. Bowen Byram is 7 to 1 to score at any time. He is 30 to 1 to score the first goal. I may have a little piece of money on that one.
He has 4 goals in the playoffs. I think, respecting the Thompson idea, I'd have to bet him to score twice to make it worth it.
Plus 950.
That I might do. Tail Sam.
But what if he scores once, Mike? You're going to hate yourself.
No, I'll never hate myself. This is what makes me feel like I'm alive. Losing.
Right.
Losing.
Sam,
adjacent.
Yeah.
Correct adjacent.
I don't want to put Mike's name on this, but you know my motto. I'd rather lose $10 than win 12. So, I gotta get the odds. It's just gotta be enough that I'm gonna feel alive if the bet is alive.
Sam's like, how did I end up with these two?
I know.
Like, he's already talking about a different show where he wasn't prepared for the question. When has he ever been prepared for one of our questions? Horns at hockey games. Right. The poor guy. Sam, assuming you're still there, because I didn't want to alienate you. What's your lacrosse problem?
I have no interest in lacrosse. And today apparently is the opening day of lacrosse. Yes. And I have a lot of Twitter, interactions or Twitter impressions today of people trying to sell me lacrosse bets.
and I have no interest in betting on the PLL or watching the PLL. I'm not a lacrosse guy, Mike. That's all.
That's it. Nothing more. Just don't want the distractions. Don't want it. Kelly in Vegas has
Can
some
you
lacrosse.
imagine? Can you imagine paying for PLL bets?
Yes. I mean, I have bet that league.
I mean,
I know it a little bit.
Sam, once I gambled on Chinese men's Olympic hockey, I think, pretty much
right.
all bets were off.
Literally. That's right.
It's just like, what won't I gamble on?
Sam, we know to be a White Sox fan. They are, I guess, in it. I mean, 2 games out in a bad division. Skubal hurt for Detroit. But I looked at the futures today, Sam, and they are a much bigger long shot than anybody else there, like even the Royals or the Twins. Does that line up? Should the White Sox be plus 2,000 to win the AL Central when the Twins or the Royals are like maybe 4 or 5 to 1?
No, I don't think so. I think the better market, though, is to reach the playoffs. So there's a 7 to 1, an 8-20 at FanDuel, a 12 to 1 at DraftKings, and a 13 to 1 at MGM. That gap is massive. There's no way a team should be as low as 7 and as high as 13 to 1. And a website that I look at all the time is Baseball Reference. They do a playoff odds page that I literally have in one of my 35 tabs on my browser every morning. I refresh it and look at it. So according to Baseball Reference, the White Sox have about a 20% chance to make the playoffs. Well, that's nowhere near 13 to 1, Mike. I mean, it's just mathematically not right. Like a 20% chance is much lower than 13 to 1. So I think it's basically odds maker disbelief. So you're paying a tax on a lot of things. We pay taxes every week on Patrick Mahomes, on Josh Allen. We're not going to pay a tax on on the White Sox because they haven't done anything. So I think it's basically those like the MGM and the DraftKings side of it is they're daring you, hey, come on in. We'll roll the carpet out. Water's warm. Come bet this 12 to 1, 13 to 1. But then you have another book at 7 to 1. So this speaks to the importance of obviously having more than one sports book. If you're going to bet $100 and you're going to take the 7 to 1 when there's a 12 to 1 and a 13 to 1 in the market, shame on you. Look, it's a young team. The pitching has been unbelievably good since April 3rd. Believe it or not, the Chicago White Sox have the best starting pitching ERA in the majors. I don't think that's going to last through June, July, August, September, but the starting pitching has been the biggest surprise. And, of course, Murakami's been awesome. Did I send you that Murakami bet that I made, Mike?
Yes.
The home run leader?
Lead the league in home runs, yes. Or lead baseball.
100 to 1.
Love it. Here,
Yeah,
how
crazy,
about this, too?
crazy.
I like the logic of all of this. Bulldog, how many 15 teams, how many teams in the American League are more than one game over 500?
Oh, my gosh. I saw this the other day. Is it only 2?
2.
Yeah.
Great job. Yankees and Rays.
Yeah.
Who are both more than like a 2 to 1 win to loss pace. But nobody else is more than one game over 500. Pick one of these teams. 6 make it. We're about almost a quarter of the way in. Pick one of these long shots. White Sox make some sense. Boston 6 under. Toronto 5 under. Houston 8 under. Like, I don't know. There's room. Sam, thank you. Will you be watching the game tonight?
Yeah, I'm not going to go to a bar across the street from the Garden, though, this time. I might just watch it at home. But I do have some Sabres tonight, and I do think Tage will light the lamp at plus 150. I know, again, you want a longer shot. Let's just keep it simple, stupid. Tage Thompson plus 150 to score. Light it up.
You want a longer shot. You want to lose.
Yeah.
No, I like it. I'm going with you.
I'm glad you mentioned the bar across the street because I wanted at least publicly thank you for taking care of the kid last Friday. He had an unbelievable trip. I didn't want to make this whole segment turn into like rehashing all that. But for folks that don't know, Sam pulled Owen got into town. He set him up with a couple bartenders at this place near the Garden, and Owen got to hold court there and buy beers for people because so many fans threw money into his Venmo so he could go to Boston. And you helped him a ton, and I appreciate you looking out for him.
Of course, anytime. You know I love the boys and the boys' family, of course. I will say, Owen was on the fence, though, because I told him on the way out, him and his buddy Jimmy, they were going into the Garden, and I said, hey, dude, get a stamp And if they win, come back. I don't know, Sammy P. I don't know. I said, if they win, your ass better be back at that bar. And in the third period, I texted him and said, hey, you better get back over there. And he came to his senses, and then he tweeted, hey, I'm at this bar, and then all the Sabres fans came through. Yeah, that's amazing. He'll never forget that night.
Thank you, Sam. Talk next week.
See you guys.
Sam Panayotovich on the West Her Hotline. His Chicken Dinner podcast is available on YouTube. We'll take a break and then talk some more. Game 2 tonight. How do you see it? 803-0550 for your calls. Mike Schop and the Bulldog, WGR. Our final Mother's Day sports trivia question of the week. Be the first person to answer correctly at 716-221-4WGR. That's 4947. And win a $125 gift card to the Woodhouse Spa in Williamsville. It's what Mom really wants for Mother's Day. Today's question: these tennis legends were coached from a young age by their mother, Oracene Price, who helped them combine for 30 Grand Slam singles titles. Who are these athletes that I once saw with their mom walking through the Detroit airport?
All right.
Closest I ever got.
Where, like, were they really young then? Mid-career? What age?
Buffalo Blizzard trip, so 98, probably.
Right.
So they would have been
just getting going, kind of
20.
Yeah,
maybe
right.
Venus is 20.
Okay, wow, cool.
I mean, she's almost 50 now.
Yeah.
I think
they've been on the scene a long time. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I gave the answer away. It's all right.
Oh yeah,
it's already.
You got the thumbs up already. Somebody called and knew it.
The answer is Yvonne Goolagong, and her sister Anne Goolagong.
Much lesser known, Anne Goolagong.
Venus and Serena Williams.
Yep.
The answer is Betty Stova.
I like this question mostly because the father is the subject of so much of the conversation and so much of the credit for their careers.
King Richard, the movie.
Right, exactly. Like, a casual tennis fan, which I would have to, I'm definitely not more than a casual tennis fan, might be like, I don't think I've ever even heard the name of the mother.
Oracene Price.
Right. I like to hear it. Good job.
One of our many awesome names on the one-timers list, people who've been on the show one and only one time, Ted Robinson, who for many years was the voice of tennis on NBC.
Mm-hmm.
And he was on once, and I asked him about Richard Williams, and he said, I will not talk about him.
Ooh. Yowza. That's
he
how
just I will not talk about
That's
him.
how you say a lot without saying anything.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is something to say, but like that, that's loaded.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it's just an announcer.
Right.
Not like
some
other, it's not like Martina Hingis' dad.
Yeah. Well, he had a certain reputation for there being no guardrails on whatever's best for my girls. I'm looking out for my girls.
Who's going to be the hero tonight? 803-0550. Mike Schop and the Bulldog back to the Sabres after this. Pregame at 6 o'clock here on WGR.
Pregame in just about an hour as it is Game 2. Sabres, Montreal. Buffalo's looking to take a 2-0 series lead. Earlier today, our own Paul Hamilton did report for Morning Skate that the Sabres lineups do appear to be the same as they were in Game 1. And then as for the status for Sam Carrick, head coach Lindy Ruff said that he is on the cusp of playing. If it were Game 7, he'd probably be in, but believes the team will be better for it to give him a few more days. And again, pregame in an hour, puck drop at 7. For TV purposes, the game is on TNT and HBO, but to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that is going to be right here on WGR. There is just one other game tonight. It's at 9:30. Anaheim hosts Las Vegas. That series is tied 1-1. While over to the Bills side of things, rookie minicamp got underway today. And for the latest on the rookie class, who has signed, who has not, the UDFA class as well, Sal Capaccio has a piece up at our website, WGR550.com. The big news, though, in the league is the league and the NFL Refs Association did reach a 7-year collective bargaining agreement, and then the 2026 schedule is set to be released next Thursday, May 14th. While in baseball, Bison's on the road versus the Iron Pigs, first pitch at 6:45, while later tonight, Jays host the Angels at 7:07, Yankees are in Milwaukee versus the Brewers at 7:40, and then out west, the Mets are at Arizona at 9:40. That's your Paddock Chevrolet Sports Update. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
I gotta wonder what kind of working relationship you'd have with Satan.
It's Mike Schop.
I've often wondered that.
Like, well, he, they, I don't know what his pronouns are, or their pronouns. Anyway, Satan.
And the Bulldog.
What's the upside of doing well?
Well, maybe they're too busy making everyone else's life hell.
Oh, boy.
And
wow.
you might just be able to do your own thing if you're partnered with Satan.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
They're too busy, making Scott Norwood miss field goals.
Oh, come on.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
We were talking about Carolina earlier, and I prefaced it all by saying everything now sounds like it might be a jinx. Because, you're looking ahead to round 3. You got to talk about something. Like, I'm optimistic, confident. I'm not assuming they'll beat Montreal, but I'd rather pick them than Montreal. I'd like their chances. If any of that needs to be,
up 1-0 already, right?
Have the lead.
Yep.
One other thing like this that, in one sense, certainly can wait because it's not about this series. But on the other, I think you could say that all Sabres topics are on the table, from line combinations to uniforms. I mean, to songs, to beer Sabres. Like, Good Morning America did a feature here today. Like, anything is okay. Where are we at on Alex Tuch in the future? Should that wait? I mean, it's going to wait.
It definitely can wait for me. I am not. It's funny, man. I guess it can be the kind of thing that you could feel is hanging over you a little bit. Like if he's your favorite player, or even if he's not, right? He's not my favorite player, but I certainly like him. And there's no question that I recognize his immediate value to this team. Like if you were to choose to not sign him, I'm gonna need to have a lot of faith in what you're gonna do with that money to replace him, because I'm not ready to listen to, Quinn will take another step and here comes Helenius. Like, you've got a cup contending team now, and just backfilling with kids on the specter of promise and hope that's not for a contending team. A contending team goes and gets a replacement for Alex Tuch somehow, either through trade and that's the start from the standpoint of them not doing it. Like, but I'm not thinking about that at all. Mm-hmm. I think I don't want to make the case either that you just pay him whatever he wants, because he is going to be 30, and there is a conversation to be had about long range. You're a contending team now. Is that, like, how soon do I regret having him at $11 million a year, let's say? Like, do I regret that in 2 years? Because that's a little too soon. If I regret it in 4 years, that's a little farther down the line, and I can live with it. Like, that's a win now move, and if you think he's got 4 years of 60 to 70 points and high caliber defensive play, penalty killing, all the stuff he produces right now, I would sign him for 8 years, knowing that 4 of them are going to be probably, or at least have the potential to be that. I mean, he could be an outlier and be great, for the whole life of the contract.
Well,
but come on.
There's also, and maybe this shouldn't count, but I think it does in reality. What if they win it? I mean, you're just going to send them to Detroit? Like, if they win it, or even do what they've done already. I mean, if it keeps going, really tough move to turn down players who have been stars on this team.
Right.
I mean, Kenneth Walker happened. He won the Super Bowl MVP. That was out of nowhere, that team, the Seahawks, and they were like, okay, fine, whatever, we're not interested. That's the business of it. But I wonder how much harder it becomes if this keeps going.
Well, it's funny. If they don't win it.
Is this why? Are you going there?
No, if they don't win it, it maybe becomes harder. If you win it, can you then do what the Chiefs did with Tyreek Hill? Which is like, well, we got a parade. We did the thing, and we're a contender. We intend to continue to contend, but we're gonna pass on $11 million for a soon-to-be 30-year-old. I don't know. It gets tough. The sentimentality would be very hard to overcome. I'm thinking of myself in 2004. I did not need Bill Miller and Derek Lowe and anybody else from the 2004 Red Sox to not be. I wanted them all back in 2005. I just want to watch them play. I don't care if they're terrible. They just won the World Series for me. First time in my lifetime. I want to watch them run around and on the grass for another season. I don't care if they're dilapidated and it's bad money. Just give me the whole year will feel like a victory lap. And now that's an extreme. Like I'm a little nutty with that.
Well, I think this would be much more that than Tyreek Hill.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I mean, it's Mahomes and Kelsey and Tyreek Hill, but he wasn't. Well, we know from it having gone by, like time went by, and he wasn't sort of so important that you had to keep him. And they'd won before. I think there were a couple of differences.
Yep.
And at that time, we talked about Diggs in this when the Chiefs traded Hill to Miami. And, like, what about Stephon Diggs? And could you do the same thing? Like, you can't do the same thing because you haven't won yet.
Right.
So you're breaking up a team that has never won, actually.
Right.
And what they're doing is trying to retool after winning. That's very different. It doesn't have to be. I always like that conversation because there's nothing fundamentally different about it. You're the 2021 Bills. You're the 2021 Chiefs, whatever year it is. And why does the past have to mean anything? I also wouldn't want to make a practice. I mean, this would be a very bad way to go about being a GM in sports. The worst ones will do this, is you're paying for past performance. You're sort of maybe too sentimental.
Mm-hmm.
And this can be owners. But I feel like the Bills and Sabres are unique in that it would be a first. Alex Tuck, if this happens, every player on that team, but he's right near the top of the list, if not at the top of the list of folk heroes if they win a cup.
Mm-hmm.
Because many like to start the story of the Sabres' return with Tuck, who was a fan growing up. And
right. Grew up in the same town as Tim Connolly. Right. Yeah.
A couple hours away and everything. Every time you watch a game, they mention this. So he would be like way up there on the list, and maybe he'll even be a hero in the course of the games. I mean, and I think in real terms, that just all would make it harder to send him on his way.
Right.
So I don't know. Like, this is one when I don't really think I'm better off being so self-conscious about it, but like in 2006 and 2007, I knew some of the players, and we would talk about all this stuff and assume series wins and talk about parade locations and, get excited for it. And I remember talking to Briere once. I'm like, because he referenced one of these conversations, and I'm like, Danny, just please turn it off. don't get in my head that like you're listening. You're driving to work tonight.
Right.
Tuck's driving to the game, listening to a conversation about his contract.
Right. Yeah. No.
Like, just please turn us off. Right. Let's just keep it to the fans. We'll talk about this.
I'm mad at you right now for planting this swing thought in my head. Right. Just like, you know what? I never want to think about that. I mean, ever. You can't do this the way that I want to do it. I think the way you want to do it, if you're thinking about that.
No, I know. Well, we still
anyway,
are having the conversation.
I know, and mostly I'm fooling around, but at my core, I feel that very strongly too. Imagining that, it can get very distracting. Anyways, yeah, well, that's why the Chiefs winning. That's why I mentioned like if they win, is it different than if they bow out in the second or even the third round? And it probably really isn't, because if you don't win, you're going to want to keep going, and that's where you're going to have to show me, okay, what exactly are you going to do with this money? Like, who's replacing Alex Tuck? I like the kids too, but I'm not ready to assume that's just going to seamlessly happen. And if they win, you look like a ghoul not extending him and sending him on his way out in the free agency. So I think either way, you just have to swallow hard and hope, again, that contract, you get more good out of it than regret. Because it seems inevitable. If you're talking about an 8-year deal that gets done before July 1st, there's a shelf life on that. They have to do that. And, let's hope their window to work is small, because they play into the middle of June, and they've only got a couple of weeks there to get ready for the draft and then free agency. They got to get that done. If they want 8 years and he wants 8 years, they got to do that before July 1, because then they just become like any other team.
What's a contract that he would want and like you'd expect him to take? Eight for what? Like if he were to milk 8 years out of somebody at his age, I mean, I could use his agent. Perhaps. If he's successful at that, how much money is it?
I think it's 11 a year.
8 for $88 million.
Yeah.
So that might be what you would think he would need.
Yeah.
And if he has to come down, then he has to come down. But like that's where you think maybe he wants to be. What's the there's a maximum, right? Is it 20% of the cap? What's the most you can pay somebody?
Well, I'm not sure what the percentage is, but with the cap being set, as I saw something within the last 24 hours about the floor, the ceiling, max contract is $20.2 million.
Okay, can I pay him? I can't bring myself to say like the absolute max contract. Can I pay him $35 million for 2 years? And would he say yes to that? That's what. This is out loud. $35 million for 2 years for Alex Tuck. Would he maybe say yes to that?
I don't know. That's.
So it's about the years.
Yeah, it's $50 million less.
Not having to do this again.
Yeah,
before you're too old.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if he stays here on anything less than an 8-year deal.
Why?
Because I just think that's if they're going to get it done before July 1, it's a way to bring the cap. I think if you go to 7 years, maybe you're talking about $12 million now or more. Like you're just getting more just to make up the money. You're going to want to get to a number, and the 8th year gives you the opportunity to spread that out a little more, so the cap hit isn't as bad. So there's value on both sides to do it, and so it gives the player the appearance of working with the team, right? For a player of this resume, right, his stats, his comparables, like on the open market, those guys are going for blank, but you get that 8th year, and that mitigates that because you can pile that extra money into an 8th year and stretch out that AAV where it's a little more palatable for you. So I just think if they're close enough, they'll get done before July 1st. Unless, do we need to get to a scenario where they say, okay, go see what's out there? Because inevitably somebody is going to pay him. It'll only be 7 years, but then the AAV probably gets nutty
because other teams can't go to 8.
Right. And neither can you once you get past July 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I just I think if it's going to get done, they'll be on the same page, close enough that they get it done within the window where the 8th year is available to them. Because it makes every bit of sense that everyone involved would want to utilize it.
Well, I know it sounds naive, but I want to see him run around on the grass here next year, no matter what.
Right.
You know, I'm totally like you in how it will be if they do it. Just bring back everybody, no matter what.
Right.
Where has Terry Pegula been? Like he's not getting a lot of, to my eyes, he's not getting a lot of like credit or. Are you like hearing his name on broadcast or seeing his face anywhere?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm not.
I read that he was in Boston.
Yeah.
For
I'm
one of those
not
games.
watching every minute of intermissions or anything to like know. I'm mostly flipping around.
I am now.
So I don't know, but I don't feel like I've seen him like, oh, here's the Sabres owner. I haven't seen that. So I don't know.
I was thinking about him, was it 2 days ago when Ted Turner died? Was that maybe Wednesday?
It was this week, yeah.
Because Ted Turner, who owned the Atlanta Braves, also managed the Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, that happened.
For one game. I think, more owners should try that.
You do?
There's so many games. What if you owned the Sabres? You wouldn't want to just coach once? Just get down there and...
No.
See, no, you would.
No.
I don't believe you.
No.
You would, but you wouldn't do it because people would make fun of you.
Well, I'm not going to tell you that isn't a compelling reason to avoid it, but I would never want to pretend like I know more than I do.
No, that I understand that. That shouldn't have to matter.
Well, it would to me though. So that's
you don't have to necessarily do much.
No, I know. I could just stand there.
Remember in COVID?
I watched Rob Ray coach roller hockey. I don't think he was drawing up plays.
Well, how did it go, though? I mean, did they?
I don't remember.
Maybe he should have drawn up some plays. Remember in COVID, there was a game the Rangers had the Flyers in, and like in that year, there were lots of times when those people had to sit out. Kevin Adams coached a game during COVID for the Sabres.
I think Chris Drury did the same for the Rangers when they had something happen. I think he might have been behind the bench for a game.
Well, there was a game where all their coaches were down. Maybe he was that game. They probably had somebody back there.
Yeah.
And they won 9-0.
Right. Zibanejad had a game, I remember.
If you're the coach, it was 9-0 after 2 that night. If you're the coach of the Rangers, whoever it was, and you have COVID, so you're not allowed to be behind the bench, and they go and win 9-0, how does that look? Jeez, thanks.
Not great.
I'm really important here. Remember the Browns in the playoffs?
Stefanski.
Kevin Stefanski gets COVID. The Cleveland Browns are in the playoffs at the Steelers, like who they never beat the Steelers.
They murdered them.
They murdered them, and the coach wasn't there. That's the best. Everybody got better. Don't worry about it. That's the best when the coaches just the team is just amazingly better when they're not there. You at least as a coach. I don't even know if the Braves did they lose when Ted Turner was
I have no idea what happened. I don't remember it being only one game. I'm disappointed it was only one game.
I think it was one game.
Just always say I know I've seen photos of him forever in the uniform.
Yeah. He didn't wear it in the luxury boxes.
No.
Just the one
in the dugout.
Just in the dugout?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Major League managers. Ted Turner, 0-1.
Okay, there it is.
He was 0 for 0 on challenges.
They didn't respond to his leadership style.
No, I guess not. Well, we don't have to talk about Alex Tuck's future anymore or Ted Turner. I feel great about tonight, although there's the one thing in my head is that Game 2 stat from last week, or 2 weeks ago now, where the Sabres have this awful record in Games 2 in the playoffs. I think it's like 18-33 now.
I don't like hearing that right now. No.
At the risk of being like too optimistic today.
18 that's tough. All right.
I've got it in here somewhere.
Yeah.
18-33 is their franchise record in Games 2 in a playoff series, including the loss to Boston. Last win was 06.
Time to break a trend. They swept this team the last time they were in the playoffs against one another.
They did.
So let's plant that as a swing thought. I want that in my head. And they played a game on Mother's Day in that series.
At home.
Which they will do. Now, it was a home game that time. Matthew Barnaby had a hat trick. His mom was in a suite. It was really, really heartwarming. But it was a home game, and this year, Game 3 will be in Montreal. But it's on Mother's Day night, and that was an afternoon game too, whatever. But I'm here for sweep 'em. Let's go.
Does the first game tilt you either way in terms of confidence in this series? Because you could say either. I think what Montreal went with was, it's just a big adjustment from the last round, and we realized with the more space, like there's more we can do.
I'm inclined to respect that. I just think it's a better opponent than I had last round. Not by miles, but it's a better opponent. And so Game 1 was, geez, I don't want to go too far, like easy, but you didn't have to hang on for dear life or anything. I mean, they were up 4-1, 4-2 got a little tight, but the third period was just professional assassination again. They just took the air out of the game. It was never like, so I don't expect that to continue. If you did, then you'd maybe go bet the sweep because, I think Buffalo has it in them to, play that game again. I just think Montreal, everybody hit goalposts. I just think it's going to be close, and it could be close again tonight, closer than it was in Game 1. So I don't feel like I don't think I know what this series is really going to be yet, I guess I would say. I think I will buy that both teams were just sort of, let's see what this matchup is. Let's see what that matchup. Kind of how I talked earlier about how Lindy, as the game went on, seemed like, let's see what Thompson and Tuck look like against Suzuki and Caulfield. And just seeing, experimenting a little bit. The score allowed you a little bit of room to do that, I suppose. And I think that'll change. I think the matchups will become more defined.
So that means tonight you find out.
Yeah,
probably.
I would expect, like, if they went back and looked at it, and did we discover, wow, we really got to keep Benson, Doan, and Norris out there against that number one line. Let's do that. Then maybe you see that all night tonight. Or maybe the tape told them a different story, that indeed, like, the Thompson line did a credible job. And if I get Norris, Doan, and Benson away from Caulfield, Suzuki, and Slafkovsky, maybe they can even do more for me. And in that case, then, full speed ahead on that. I don't think we know that yet. Tonight will tell us to an extent. Because, again, Lindy's got the matchup, and he can decide who he wants out against whom. And, again, it was a little bit of a grab bag in Game 1. I'd be surprised if that continues much past tonight, if it even continues into tonight.
See if Doan, Benson, and McLeod, not a line, but the three Sabres who each had 2 points in Game 1 can continue to shoot up this list of mine of all-time Sabres versus Canadiens playoff scores. 2 in the first game is a good start. The threes, some of the names, Bulldog. 3 points for Buffalo against Montreal in postseason history. Dean Kennedy.
Wow. Dean Kennedy.
Dean Kennedy, I should probably look because you always should look, but I went with my friend to Game 1 of the series in 1990. It was a great Sabres team. Montreal was really good, too. They might have been 3rd and 4th in the league in points, but played each other. Travis would have loved it.
Yeah.
And I think they win that game 4-1, and Dean Kennedy scored. And my buddy and I were just, like, completely wowed by it, like, just because he never scored.
I went to a Sabres playoff game. They scored 1 goal. It was Dean Kennedy.
Yeah, well, this was a 4-1 win.
Oh, 4-1 win. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry.
I think, but still.
Okay, I had it wrong. Sorry.
Not only did they get a win there, but Kennedy.
Right.
And we would just walk around saying Kennedy.
Right. Isn't that not Greenway from Game 1?
It's more than Greenway.
Yes, that's right. Greenway at least is a forward.
Right. 1990, 80 games played, he had 2 goals. But I think he scored in that opener. That would be, old Samuelson. Before Samuelson started scoring all the time.
Right.
Last year, Samuelson, this would be. All right. Coming up later this hour, Alex Lyon with the media. We'll have Paul Hamilton on to kick pregame off at 6. Mike Schopp and the Bulldog at 803-0550. This is WGR.
Game 4, Game 2 coming up in just about 30 minutes as the Buffalo Sabres host the Montreal Canadiens, and Buffalo is looking for that 2-0 series lead. Earlier today, our own Paul Hamilton did report that from the morning skate, the lineup for the Sabres does appear to be the same as it was in Game 1. And then as for the status for Sam Carrick, head coach Lindy Ruff said he is on the cusp of playing. If it were a Game 7, he would likely be in, but they believe that the team will be better for it to give Carrick a few more days. Again, pregame at 6, a 7 p.m. puck drop. And for TV purposes tonight, the game is on TNT and HBO. But to listen to Dan Dunleavy and Rob Ray, that is going to be right here on WGR. There is one other game tonight. It's at 9:30. Anaheim hosts Las Vegas. That series is tied 1-1. And then over to the Bills. Rookie minicamp got underway today. For more on the rookies that have signed their contracts, the UDFA class, and more, Sacapaccio does have pieces up at our website, WGR550.com. And then in baseball, Bison's on the road versus the Iron Pigs. First pitch is at 6:45. That's Paddock Chevrolet Sports Headlines. Paddock Chevrolet with you for the extra mile since 1935. I'm Zach Jones for Western New York's Voice of the Fan, WGR.
I know the Sabres is huge up here. I know they play tonight. They play the Canadiens. So hopefully I could tune in a little bit after I get in my playbook a little bit. But I'm excited. NHL playoffs is exciting, man. Go Sabres.
Skylar Bell, born in the Bronx, Wisconsin, and then UConn on his path to the NFL and the Bills.
Those are hockey places.
That guy, Pat Corain, from ADP Chasing, was born and raised in Brooklyn, but never caught a hockey bug. We make fun of it every week on the show, just like he couldn't name all the teams.
All right.
And we're all sort of incredulous to it. Like, how could you have been in New York City and just like completely blind to the NHL? But he was. I mean, he seems like an okay guy otherwise. But he's not on the Sabre
we don't need a seat for him. Okay, that's fine.
No, not yet.
I got time. I'll leave room. I'll make room if you want, whatever. Maybe after tonight.
Jacob is a Leaf fan, number. All about the Sabres. I will. And Davis is an Avs fan. So, hey, what can you say? I mean,
have fun with that.
He's from St. Louis. That's not super bandwagon-y. There is an NHL team in St. Louis.
That's correct.
But the Avs have not been so dominant for forever where you'd have to bang on a guy for, choosing them as their favorite team. I think they've been good most years.
Sure, and they've
won a
just
couple.
Won the cup just recently. So I mean, if he decided during that cup run he was an Avs fan, then I got a problem.
That's
but if
pretty
not,
weak.
it's probably just fine then.
I don't think that's his story.
All right, good.
Alex Lyon, what a great story he's been. We've got again a lot of pregame sound, it being the playoffs, and don't have room in the pregame show for all of it. But Lyon is super interesting. We're going to make room for him next. Mike Schop and the Bulldog, pregame at 6 on WGR.
since so long, all the feels are gone. Fella stopped me on the street last night, said everything's alright. Roller coaster, make it through the day upright. It seems your meal ticket is gone, but life goes on. I could never imagine something better. Yeah, right. Now you're cooking on high heat in the middle of the street. Roller coaster, take me to a better time. Let's go. All sing your high line with the roller coaster of life. Yeah. It's time to all choose your timeline on the roller coaster of life. You seem to easily forget how to place your bet. When everyday life gets you down, you gotta steal the crown. Got to own it. Don't bitch and moan about it, please. God forbid you scrape your knees, and it's nothing to sneeze at. Oh, I've told you over and over again. You gotta get both hands around it and make your own plans. Roller coaster, it's taking over, it's about time. Oh, oh, sing your high line on the roller coaster of life. You've got to all choose.
Little extra pregame sound for you. Alex Lyon, the winner in Game 1. He's won 4 out of 5 since replacing Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen after Game 2 of Round 1. Here's Lyon from earlier.
Alex, with this being the playoffs and as much as you're playing, how do you approach a day like this where maybe you're not on the ice but you guys are here? Will you do gym work? Will you just do video work? How do you approach a day like this where you're not going to be on the ice but a game tomorrow?
Yeah, definitely the priority is the body. Just try to get the body in the best shape as possible for tomorrow. And when you're going every other day, it's a grind to get emotionally, and it's almost like you have to come down after and then kind of rework yourself back up. But it's important to pay attention to it. There's no days off, and so we've been treating it the right way.
Right over here to your left. Rasmus Dahlin was just announced as one of the 3 finalists for the Norris Trophy this year. I was wondering if you could share what it's like to see him do his thing.
Yeah, didn't know that, so congratulations to him. Well deserved. Okay, it happens a lot, but you sign a new organization, and usually the really big dogs on the team, you get there and you're like, whoa, this guy's way better than I even imagined. And that's definitely happened with Dolls this year. Obviously new playing against him and kind of his pedigree, obviously, but you get into practice with him, get into the room with him, and it's just blows you away at how talented some of those guys are. And so massive credit to him. He works extremely hard and has a great mindset. So just credit to him.
Hey, Alex. The Montreal is a far different style team than Boston. How did you see the Sabres adapt to a different style of game in attacking Montreal?
Yeah, definitely different. A bit of a different style. I think sometimes, you can kind of blow it up in your head that maybe it's going to be a completely different game, and really it just comes down to making plays and playing with poise at the end of the day. So that's by far the most important thing. And we did a good job of that. I think we came mentally prepared yesterday. But game one is always a feeling out process to a degree, and so I'm sure that they'll be definitely ready to play tomorrow, and so we just have to match that competitivity and desperation.
Hey, Alex, just bigger picture. I mean, I remember talking to you in Toronto when you were with the Panthers. I mean, you've had a lot of stops. It hasn't been a straight line. What's kept you going, and what are you most proud of your journey to this point?
Yeah, it's you never. I think everybody in the league probably would tell you that they would never think that they would make it as far as they did, and so it's a lot about survival, at times, and when the chips are down, just continuing to stay competitive and believe in yourself. It's sometimes a really difficult thing to do, but I just love playing hockey, and that's probably the thing that I found that's carried me through the most. Is I love playing a game. I love being around the guys, and I love competing. So just having that competitive energy to bring it on a day-to-day basis is something that I'm proud of, and I try to bring to whatever team I'm on. And it's just a lot of fun. I actually quite enjoy playing for different organizations, and I've found that to be a pretty enjoyable experience.
Hey, Alex, kind of a goalie science sort of question here, but Montreal was doing a lot of quick passes from behind the net, goal line, cross crease kind of stuff. Is there a way to prepare for that, or how do you attack that when you have to keep your head on a swivel?
Yeah, definitely. I think that you have to mentally prepare a little bit differently than the team that maybe likes to hold on to pucks. But when you play against enough teams, you kind of start to develop a game plan for those things. Like, for example, if you're going to play in Carolina, you kind of know it's going to be a different style of game when you're going in there. And the first 10 minutes, we joke all the time, but the first 10 minutes of playing at the Lenovo Center is always going to be a big task, because they're going to come ready to play and they're going to throw everything into net. So, some teams, every team resides on a different part of the scale in terms of shot volume and how they like to create and get their best chances. So, I think just with experience, you kind of learn to deal with certain different situations in different ways.
Hey, Alex, again about your road to where you are today. I know you're just in the second round and you're gonna say nobody's won yet, but do you sometimes reflect on all the journey you've gone through to get there? Is that, do you surprise yourself to say, okay, I'm one of the most dominant goalie in those playoffs, and here's where I'm from? Do you think of that a lot, or not much?
I think you get over a hump at some point of, especially it was difficult for me at times because I spent a lot of the early parts of my career, obviously in the American League, and then kind of broke in when I was a bit older, and I found that difficult to a degree. And sometimes it's difficult not to get enamored with yourself and feel good about yourself. To be honest, I think at this point in my career, what I focus on and what drives me is ultimately having that team success, and the individual success really just takes a back seat once you get to a certain point, and it's much more rewarding and much more fun to play with a team that has energy and great vibes, and you're playing the right way and you're ultra competitive, and so those are really the things that I focus on now. And I found the older I get, the less I care about the individual, and I think honestly that will also help the individual play as well, if you focus on that. But it's really difficult as a young player to not get caught up in that day-to-day, and you're thinking about, the production, and because that's really, where we get judged on is our production, realistically. So, the less you think about that and the less you worry about that, usually the better things are.
And how's the life of a 33-year-old in the locker room where everyone is basically 24?
Sorry, what's it like?
And what's it like being one of the oldest guy in this locker room?
I think actually my American League experience, I think, trained me pretty good for that. I was the oldest guy in the room for a couple of years. Like my year in Chicago, I was the oldest guy in the locker room at age like 30. So it's not really that foreign of an experience for me. Every team is different. Every organization is different. And it presents a different set of challenges. And so really, as a guy who's been with a bunch of different teams, I'm kind of like an amorphous blob to a degree where I can fit in different situations and adapt to the circumstances. And that's what I try to do. And I think that's where my value lies.
An amorphous blob is a very good identity to have, I guess. I was wondering, for your perspective, last night, obviously in the third period, you enter with a big 2-goal lead. There's some degree of impact on how that period went, I suppose, the fact that you guys were leading. The shot disparity is one thing, but from your point of view, did you feel like there was any imminent danger in that period, aside from the fact that the puck was in your end a lot and that probably you had to be on high alert, but otherwise, what was the danger level as far as your point of view was?
Yeah, I see that as we talked about it all year, and you have to spend, the reason you train so hard in the summer is to prepare for the preseason, and then you want to start doing the right things in the preseason so you can parlay that into the regular season, and then so on and so forth. And I think that we did a good job this year of focusing on those details. When we have a 1-goal lead, when it's tied, when we're down by 1, you want to remember those experiences and think about them in the moment so you can draw on them later. And so I think that, the people maybe that have been around the team a bit more, they would say the same thing, that I think we did a good job when we had a 1-2-goal lead in the third period. We've been training all year for those situations. And I think that we've done a good job and found a good identity in those situations. It's not easy, and so it's not just not going to necessarily translate fluidly from game to game. But again, we've just done a good job of training ourselves and doing the right things. And I think it's carrying over.
Alex, if we're kind of in that same vein, there was so much made about the lack of playoff experience in this group going in, and yet you haven't seemed to have much trouble making adjustments and doing those things, whether it's in game or from game to game. What is it about this group that is unique in that way, that really, whether it's flushing a bad period or whatever it is, what makes this group special in that way?
I think it's not even from the outside, from the inside looking out, it's easy to forget that maybe at one point in the season we were fighting for our lives. And there's an NHL team every year, and every sports team, that they start playing playoff games in the middle of their season, and then it translates well, that kind of desperation. And we did a good job at the end of the year and found some success for sure. But at one point in the season in December, we were fighting for our lives, and I think that we rallied around each other as a group, and it's been a really fun group to be a part of. And I think that when guys are playing for the guy next to them, that's the most powerful thing. So I think that that's what we're doing right now.
Alex, you've had a front row seat to Zach Benson all season long. What's it like over the last few weeks to see the hockey world kind of get to know the player and the personality that you guys have in Benson? Yeah, playoffs is fun sometimes because we see that guy every day, and it's just like the first time that other people are getting to having the Zach Benson experience. But I've been so impressed with him since the first day I got here. His his ability to like read the situation and read people and understand the game is high. And Benny's definitely there's an art to his madness, and I don't necessarily know that he always wants to let people believe that, but he definitely knows what he's doing. And for a young player, I don't know, what is he, 20 years old? He's not even 21. For him to excel in this situation is extremely impressive.
Alex Lyon on a roll with the Sabres, as is his team. Benson is 20. He turns 21 in 2 weeks. No, less than that, May 12th. So I guess that's Tuesday. Everybody's into Benson, you know? I think there are fans whose favorite player is the star, the superstar. There are fans who enjoy not going in that direction and finding players that are more obscure. And then there can also be whatever other kind of reasons for how you gravitate to a favorite. But Benson, I think, kind of just has everybody. And the whole rat stuff with him, I wonder, he's probably been asked this, I wonder how much he chooses to embrace that. I mean, it's a compliment in hockey. He's not only, well, I guess this is what makes the famous rats, if you will, famous, is they're not just there to get their shots in. There's more to their game, often much more. And I don't know, like a part of me would think that Benson might not appreciate being kind of pigeonholed, if you will, in that one particular way. But probably publicly it's better to use it. And maybe he doesn't always love it, but I think he has shown to be embracing the whole idea. What a player. Paul Hamilton joins us next. Pregame coverage officially starts. Mike Schop and the Bulldog, WGR.
Was Thursday, today it's Friday.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
We so excited, we gonna have a ball today. Tomorrow is Saturday.
I'm itching inside. My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I took Deborah, went to the liquor store, I loaded up with alcohol. More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.
Looking forward to the weekend. Day was Thursday. Today it's Friday.
It's Mike Schop and the Bulldog.
We so excited, we gonna have a ball today. Tomorrow is Saturday.
I'm itching inside. My liver's all twisted up. But you know what I did? I took Deborah, went to the liquor store, I loaded up with alcohol, more specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
On WGR, Sports Radio 550.